The Archesian Empire's first glimpse of Earth came through the crystalline displays of their most advanced scout ship, the Eternal Dawn. High Commander Zaraxis stood with perfect posture, his iridescent scales reflecting the soft blue glow of holographic readouts. His species had conquered 1,000 worlds, yet something about this unremarkable blue planet made his dorsal spines twitch with unease. Another primitive world, reported Science Officer Kelfar, her slender fingers dancing across the control interface. Preliminary scans show basic spacefaring capabilities, minimal orbital defenses, and significant atmospheric pollution. Classification: Development Stage 3, barely into their space age. Zaraxis's vertical pupils narrowed as he studied the planet's readings. Earth had been designated a Deathworld by ancient spacefaring species, but the Archesians had long dismissed such classifications as exaggerations. Their empire had subjugated far more hostile environments. "Continue surveillance," he commanded. "Report any military movements or defensive capabilities." What the Archesians couldn't detect was that their every movement was being tracked by systems far more sophisticated than they could imagine. Deep within a mountain complex in Colorado, Dr. Sarah Chen watched the alien vessel through quantum-enhanced sensors that left no traditional signature. "They're doing exactly what we expected," she reported to the United Earth Defense Council. The holographic faces of 12 representatives from Earth's major powers looked back at her with grim satisfaction. "The Archesians are following the same pattern they've used on 17 other worlds. They think we're primitive, just as we planned." General Marcus Williams, his dark skin highlighted by the soft blue glow of the holographic display, nodded slowly. "Operation Mirror Shield is proceeding as anticipated. All major cities have their quantum camouflage systems in place." "Affirmative," Dr. Chen responded. "What they're seeing is a carefully constructed illusion. Outdated satellites, primitive space stations, and basic defense systems. Our true capabilities remain hidden beneath layers of technological invisibility." For 30 years, humanity had prepared for this moment. Since detecting the first signs of the Archesian Empire's expansion, Earth had implemented the most ambitious deception in human history. While appearing to progress at a normal technological pace, they had secretly achieved breakthroughs in quantum mechanics, gravity manipulation, and consciousness-linked artificial intelligence. In orbital shipyards hidden behind dimensional veils, vast fleets of advanced warships waited. Within the Earth's crust, a network of geothermal energy collectors powered planetary shields that could withstand the force of a supernova. But none of this was visible to the Archesian scouts. "They've launched survey probes," reported Captain Jinwei from Lunar Command. The probes, sleek and predatory, descended through Earth's atmosphere, their sensors probing for military installations and defense capabilities. The Council watched as the probes passed directly through holographic projections of primitive military bases, completely unaware of the quantum-shifted facilities that existed in parallel space mere meters away. Every piece of advanced technology on Earth was hidden behind similar veils, presenting only what the Archesians expected to see: a primitive civilization ripe for conquest. "The psychological profile holds true," Dr. Chen continued. "The Archesians are supremely confident, believing themselves technologically superior to any civilization they encounter. Their entire empire is built on this assumption of supremacy." General Williams smiled grimly. "And that assumption will be their undoing. How long until they report back to their main fleet?" "Based on their standard protocols, we estimate 3 Earth days," replied Dr. Chen. "They'll recommend immediate invasion, classifying us as an easy target with valuable resources." The council members exchanged knowing looks. Humanity had spent generations preparing for this moment, knowing that eventually one of the aggressive species in their galaxy would target Earth. They had used that time wisely, advancing their technology in secret while maintaining a carefully crafted facade of primitive development. As the Archesian scout ship recorded its final observations, none of its crew noticed the quantum-shifted sensors analyzing every aspect of their technology. or the AI systems cataloging their tactical protocols. They didn't detect the microscopic nanites that had already infiltrated their hull, mapping their ship's systems down to the molecular level. "Send the coded update to all defense installations," ordered General Williams. "Operation Mirror Shield is entering its final phase. When the Arquesian fleet arrives, they'll find exactly what they're expecting. A primitive world, ripe for conquest." Dr. Chen nodded, her fingers dancing across the quantum interface. "All systems are primed and waiting. The trap is set." As the Eternal Dawn prepared to jump to hyperspace, Tsar Axis felt a moment of anticipation. This would be an easy conquest, another jewel in the crown of the Arquesian Empire. He had no way of knowing that his empire's greatest defeat was about to begin, or that the primitive humans he so casually dismissed had spent decades preparing specifically for this moment. The hunt was about to begin, but not in the way the Arquesians imagined. They thought themselves the predators, unaware they were about to become the prey. The quantum-encrypted message from the Eternal Dawn reached the Arquesian Empire's central command within hours. High Admiral Vexthor, his scaled hide bearing the ceremonial marks of 100 conquests, reviewed the scout ship's findings with growing satisfaction. The holographic display showed Earth in perfect detail, a technologically adolescent world, barely able to reach its own moon. "Their defenses are negligible," Tsar Axis' recorded report echoed through the command chamber. "Their most advanced weapons are chemical propulsion missiles and primitive energy shields. We estimate total planetary subjugation within 3 standard cycles." What the Arquesians saw as primitive chemical rockets were actually quantum holographic projections, carefully crafted by Earth's most advanced AI systems. Behind these illusions, humanity's true defensive capabilities waited in dimensional pocket space, invisible to even the most sophisticated Arquesian sensors. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility known as the Hydra Complex, Dr. Elena Rodriguez monitored the Arquesian communications through quantum entanglement receivers. "They've taken the bait," she reported to the Defense Council. "The invasion fleet will launch within 24 hours. The Council chamber, suspended in a pocket of folded spacetime beneath the Mariana Trench, hummed with tension. Holographic displays showed the positions of 30,000 cloaked human vessels, each more advanced than anything the Arquesians had ever encountered. "Initiate Phase 2 of the Silent Protocol," ordered Admiral Sarah Chen, her weathered face illuminated by the soft blue glow of quantum displays. "All defense grids to standby status. Maintain full camouflage until the enemy fleet commits to orbit." Across the globe, advanced defense systems shifted into pre-combat configuration while maintaining their deceptive veneer of primitive technology. In the asteroid belt, mining operations that appeared to be simple resource extraction facilities secretly housed quantum weapon platforms, capable of reducing entire fleets to their component atoms. The lunar far side, apparently barren and uninhabited, concealed vast hangars where consciousness-linked combat drones waited in perfect stillness. Their pilots, connected through neural interfaces that transcended normal spacetime, could react faster than any organic being. "The Arquesians are deploying in standard conquest formation," reported Captain James Chen, Dr. Rodriguez's second-in-command. 7 fleet groups, each targeting a major population center. They're following their traditional shock and awe doctrine. What the Arquesians couldn't know was that every aspect of their military doctrine had been studied and countered over decades of preparation. The United Earth Defense Force had developed specific countermeasures for each of their tactical approaches, all while maintaining the illusion of technological inferiority. In orbit around Jupiter, hidden within the quantum shadow of the gas giant's magnetic field, Earth's true fleet waited. These ships bore little resemblance to the crude vessels the Arquesians had observed. Built using technology that bordered on the miraculous, they could manipulate gravity, fold space, and channel the fundamental forces of the universe itself. "All quantum entanglement networks are synchronized," reported Dr. Rodriguez. "Neural-linked response times are optimal. The moment they commit to invasion, We can engage from every vector simultaneously. The Defense Council watched as holographic displays showed the approaching Arquesian armada. The alien ships were impressive by conventional standards. Massive vessels bristling with energy weapons and protected by shields that could withstand nuclear detonations. But against what humanity had secretly developed, they might as well have been made of paper. Remember, Admiral Chen addressed the assembled commanders. We're not just fighting a battle. We're setting an example for the galaxy. After today, no species will dare threaten Earth again. In high orbit, the Arquesian invasion fleet began to emerge from hyperspace. Thousands of warships, their hull plates gleaming with an iridescent sheen, moved into attack position. High Admiral Vexthor stood on his flagship's command deck, anticipating another easy victory. "Launch the first wave," he commanded. "Show these primitives the futility of resistance." But as the Arquesian ships moved to engage, something extraordinary happened. Their sensors began detecting anomalies, subtle at first, then increasingly obvious. The primitive defenses they'd observed started to shimmer like mirages, revealing glimpses of something far more sophisticated beneath. Status report. Vexthor demanded as his sensor officers reported increasingly impossible readings. The simple orbital satellites were transforming, their crude structures dissolving to reveal advanced weapons platforms. The primitive space stations rippled like water, showing brief glimpses of massive defense installations. In the Hydra complex, Dr. Rodriguez allowed herself a small smile. "They're starting to see through the veil," she reported. "Quantum camouflage disengaging exactly as planned. Operation Silent Protocol is entering its final phase." The trap was about to spring, and the Arquesian Empire was about to learn why Earth had earned its reputation as a death world. But this time, it wasn't the planet's natural hazards they needed to fear. It was humanity itself. High Admiral Vexthor's mandibles clicked in agitation as his flagship's sensors continued reporting impossible readings. What had appeared to be Earth's crude orbital infrastructure was transforming before his eyes, revealing layers of technology that shouldn't exist on a Stage 3 civilization world. "My Admiral," his sensor chief called out, fear evident in his multi-tone voice, "we're detecting quantum fluctuations throughout the entire system. The humans, they're everywhere." The truth unveiled itself like a lotus blooming in darkness. Earth's defensive grid wasn't just more advanced than the Arquesians had believed. It was generations beyond anything they had ever encountered. The quantum camouflage that had hidden humanity's true capabilities dissolved in a cascading wave of revelation. In the Hydra complex, Admiral Chen gave the command they had rehearsed for decades: "Execute Operation Phantom Web." Humanity's response began not with a bang, but with silence. Absolute, perfect silence. Every Arquesian communication channel went dead simultaneously. Their quantum entanglement communicators, supposedly unhackable, displayed only static. Their neural networks, the pride of Arquesian military technology, became unreachable. "They've isolated every ship in our fleet," reported Vexthor's second-in-command, his scales losing their luster in the emergency lighting. "Each vessel is fighting alone." From dimensional pockets scattered throughout the solar system, Earth's true fleet emerged. These weren't the crude rockets and chemical-propelled ships the Arquesians had expected. These vessels moved like liquid mercury, their quantum-shifted hulls bending light around them as they accelerated to impossible speeds. Dr. Rodriguez's voice echoed through the neural link, connecting Earth's defenders. Phase 1 complete. Initiating Phase 2. The Web Titans. The trap was more than just military technology. Earth's defenders had spent years studying Arquesian psychology, their military doctrine, even their evolutionary instincts. Every aspect of human technology was designed not just to defeat the Arquesians, but to break their spirit. Quantum-locked tractor beams, invisible until activation, suddenly snared key ships in the Arquesian fleet. The alien vessels found themselves bound in a web of forces they couldn't detect or resist. Their most powerful engines couldn't break free from holds that seemed to ignore the laws of physics themselves. "Launch the Phantom drones," ordered Admiral Chen. From Earth's dark side, swarms of autonomous units emerged. Unlike traditional drones, these were consciousness-linked quantum computers housed in bodies of programmable matter. They could change shape mid-flight, adapt to any defense, and think faster than organic brains could process. The Arquesian fleet's first indication of these new weapons came as their supposedly impenetrable shields began to fail. The drones hadn't attacked the shields. They had rewritten the quantum states that made them possible. Impossible. Vex Thor roared as reports of ships going dark cascaded through his failing command network. They're savages. They can't have this level of technology. But humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology. It was their understanding of their enemy. Every Arquesian tactic, every response, had been predicted and countered before the battle began. When they tried to regroup, quantum disruption fields herded them into killing zones. When they attempted to retreat, they found their hyperdrives had been subtly altered, their navigation systems compromised. In the Hydra complex, Dr. Rodriguez watched the battle unfold with clinical precision. "The web is at 90% efficiency," she reported. "Enemy fleet cohesion is breaking down exactly as predicted." The Arquesian response was exactly what humanity had expected. They attempted to demonstrate their superiority through brute force. Their largest ships, including Vex Thor's flagship, charged their main weapons. Planet-killing beams of energy lanced out toward Earth. But Earth wasn't there anymore. At least, not where the Arquesians perceived it to be. "Quantum displacement shield holding steady," reported Captain Chen. "Their weapons are hitting a shadow of Earth projected 4,000 kilometers from our actual position." The truth dawned on the Arquesian commander too late. They hadn't just underestimated humanity's technology. They had underestimated humanity's capacity for deception. Every aspect of Earth's appearance, from its position in space to its technological level, had been carefully crafted to lure them into this trap. As their fleet broke apart under attacks they couldn't comprehend, using principles of physics they didn't understand, the Arquesians faced a terrible realization. They hadn't found a primitive world ripe for conquest. They had stumbled into the carefully laid trap of a civilization that had spent generations preparing for this moment. "Begin final phase," Admiral Chen commanded. "Show them exactly what a Deathworld species is capable of." The phantom web began to contract, and the true nature of humanity's defense plan revealed itself. The Arquesians were about to learn that on Earth, evolution had crafted not just physical survivors, but masters of adaptation and deception. And now, those skills would be demonstrated on a galactic scale. The Arquesian fleet's formation had completely broken down. What had begun as an organized invasion force was now scattered across Earth's orbital space, each ship fighting its own desperate battle against enemies they could barely comprehend. High Admiral Vex Thor watched in horror as his mighty armada was systematically dismantled by what seemed like the fabric of space itself. "My Admiral," his tactical officer reported, voice trembling, "we've lost contact with the entire Third Fleet Wing. They just disappeared." The disappeared ships hadn't been destroyed. They had been phase-shifted into a pocket dimension, their crews completely unharmed but effectively removed from the battle. This was another carefully calculated element of humanity's strategy. They weren't just winning. They were demonstrating a level of technological and ethical superiority that would reshape galactic politics for centuries to come. In the Hydra complex, Admiral Chen observed the battle through the quantum-linked tactical display. "Initiate the Lazarus Protocol," she commanded. "Let's show them what Earth's environment can really do." What happened next defied everything the Arquesians thought they knew about planetary defense. Earth's magnetosphere, which had appeared normal to their initial scans, suddenly came alive. The planet's magnetic field, artificially enhanced by thousands of quantum field generators hidden beneath the planet's surface, began to pulse with incredible power. Dr. Rodriguez monitored the readings with satisfaction. Magnetosphere weaponization at 70% and climbing. Solar wind particles are being captured and directed exactly as planned. The Arquesian ships found themselves caught in a web of magnetic forces that made their energy shields worthless. Charged particles from the solar wind, guided by Earth's enhanced magnetic field, began to dance across their hulls like artificial aurora. Their advanced materials, designed to withstand energy weapons and kinetic impacts, provided no defense against this fundamental manipulation of natural forces. "This is impossible," Vexthor muttered, watching his fleet's most powerful weapons dissipate harmlessly against defenses that seemed to bend reality itself. No species could have advanced this far in secret, but humanity had done exactly that, turning their greatest weakness, their apparent technological inferiority, into their greatest strength. While other species had focused on building bigger ships and more powerful weapons, humanity had learned to manipulate the fundamental forces of the universe itself. From quantum-shifted hangars on Mars, a new wave of human vessels emerged. These ships didn't fight like conventional warships. They moved like living things, their hulls flowing like liquid metal as they adapted to each Arquesian attack. They were piloted by hybrid consciousness, human minds linked with quantum AI, capable of reacting faster than thought itself. "The enemy flagship is attempting to coordinate a counterattack," Captain Chen reported. "They're trying to concentrate their remaining forces for one final push." Admiral Chen nodded. "Just as predicted. Execute Protocol Omega." Throughout the solar system, hidden quantum entanglement nodes activated. Space itself seemed to ripple as humanity revealed their ultimate defensive capability. The Arquesian ships found themselves fighting in an environment where the laws of physics could be locally rewritten, where cause and effect could be temporarily reversed, where space and time became fluid concepts rather than absolute constants. "Their tactical doctrine is breaking down completely," Dr. Rodriguez observed. "They're reverting to individual ship actions, exactly as our psychological models predicted." The Arquesian Empire had built its reputation on overwhelming force and superior technology. But here, facing an enemy that could manipulate reality itself, those advantages meant nothing. Their mighty warships, each capable of devastating an entire planet, were being systematically neutralized without a single shot being fired in anger. In a desperate gambit, Vexthor ordered his remaining ships to attempt an emergency hyperspace jump. "Retreat. All ships, Emergency Protocol 793. But even this had been anticipated. The quantum disruption field surrounding Earth's orbital space had subtly altered the underlying structure of space-time. Hyperspace corridors, normally stable and predictable, became treacherous mazes that led nowhere. "Should we stop them from attempting the jump?" Captain Chen asked. Admiral Chen shook her head. "Let them try. The lesson must be complete." The Arquesian ships that attempted to jump found themselves emerging exactly where they had started, their most fundamental method of faster-than-light travel rendered useless by human technology. The psychological impact was devastating. They weren't just being defeated, they were being toyed with. As the battle entered its final phase, humanity's true message became clear. They hadn't just prepared to defend themselves. They had prepared to revolutionize the galaxy's understanding of what was possible. Each carefully orchestrated defeat of the Arquesian fleet demonstrated not just superior technology, but a completely different approach to civilization itself. The battle for Earth ended not with destruction, but with transformation. High Admiral Vexthor stood on his flagship's bridge, his proud posture finally broken as he watched the last of his fleet's resistance crumble. The mighty Arquesian Armada, terror of 1,000 worlds, had been defeated without a single ship being destroyed. "We," his voice trembled with a mixture of fear and awe, "we surrender." In the Hydra complex, Admiral Chen nodded solemnly. "Transmission received. Begin the reconciliation protocol." The quantum fields that had trapped and disabled the Arquesian fleet gradually shifted, allowing their ships to regain normal function. But the message was clear. This mercy was a choice, not a necessity. Humanity could have destroyed them at any moment. Dr. Rodriguez's voice carried across all frequencies, translated perfectly into Arquesian. Your surrender is accepted. You will be escorted to diplomatic coordinates. The terms of this encounter will reshape our galaxy's future. As the disabled Arquesian ships were guided to Earth's diplomatic station, a massive structure that shimmered into view as its quantum camouflage dissolved, the true scope of humanity's achievement began to dawn on their former attackers. "Send the signal," Admiral Chen commanded. "It's time to show the galaxy who we really are." Across the vast expanse of space, quantum-entangled communications carried the news of what had transpired at Earth. The message wasn't just about military victory. It was about the emergence of a civilization that had fundamentally changed the rules of galactic society. In the diplomatic station, Vexthor and his surviving command staff faced the human leadership. The station's walls seemed to breathe with living technology, its very structure a demonstration of humanity's mastery over matter and energy. "You wonder how we achieved this," Admiral Chen addressed the defeated Arquesian leader. "The answer is simple. We evolved on a world that taught us to adapt or die. But more importantly, we learned to think differently." Through quantum imaging, she showed them Earth's true face, not just the planetary defenses and advanced technology, but the civilization that had created them. Cities that existed in harmony with quantum physics, transportation systems that bent space instead of traveling through it, energy networks that tapped into the fundamental forces of reality. "While you built bigger ships and stronger weapons," Dr. Rodriguez explained, "we questioned the nature of reality itself. While you conquered worlds, we learned to dance with the quantum fabric of the universe." The implications rippled through galactic society like waves through the quantum foam of space itself. Humanity hadn't just defeated the Arquesian Empire. They had demonstrated a completely new path for civilization's development. But why maintain the deception? Vexthor asked, his scientific curiosity finally overcoming his shame. "Why appear primitive when you were anything but?" Admiral Chen's answer was both simple and profound. "Because we learned long ago that true strength lies not in demonstrating power, but in choosing when to reveal it. We didn't want to dominate the galaxy. We wanted to change it." And change it they had. As news of the battle spread, other spacefaring races began to understand the new reality. Earth wasn't just another world. It was a glimpse of what civilization could become when it evolved beyond the cycle of conquest and destruction. In the days that followed, humanity began sharing some of their advances. Carefully, selectively, but generously. Quantum communication networks that could span the galaxy without delay. Medical technologies that could heal without harm. Energy systems that drew power from the quantum fabric of space itself. "We offer you a choice," Admiral Chen told the assembled galactic representatives who had hurried to Earth after the battle. "Continue on your current path of conquest and destruction, or join us in exploring what's truly possible." The response was overwhelming. The galaxy had seen what humanity could do, not just their technological superiority, but their capacity for mercy, their ability to win without destruction, their willingness to help others grow. In the Hydra complex, Dr. Rodriguez watched the quantum feeds showing the transformations already beginning across known space. "It worked," she said softly. "We didn't just defend Earth, we changed the future." Admiral Chen nodded, looking out at the stars that now held so much more promise than before. That was always the true goal. Not to win a war, but to end the need for them. The legacy of Earth, the supposed Deathworld, would not be one of fear or destruction. Instead, it would be remembered as the world that showed the galaxy a different way forward, a path of innovation, cooperation, and transformation. As the last Arquesian ships departed under escort, their crews forever changed by what they had witnessed, humanity turned its attention to the future. They had revealed themselves to the galaxy not as conquerors, but as teachers. Not as destroyers, but as creators. The Deathworld had given birth to a new age of galactic civilization, and the universe would never be the same.